You have to take into consideration the performative part of it. And that is if it can be realized on the stage. Because when that does not happen, then the drama has failed. Of course, not all drama is written to be staged. But if you want the drama to be staged, which is what gives life to the script, it's performance that gives life to the script that you've written, the drama script that you've written. If it is something that should be read, then it doesn't really require any special consideration. But if it is something that has to be staged, then you have to take into consideration the possibility of realizing the play on the stage while you are writing. To be specific, you cannot include things that will be impossible to bring up on the stage. And of course, that is why if you see most of Nigerian movies, the acts that they have in them are limited because of the resources, the performance resources at their disposal, compared to Western movies. They can do anything, okay? I think in the early days of Nigerian movies, if somebody is traveling, okay, if somebody is traveling abroad, it will be difficult they will never show that aspect of that part of the person, boarding the plane and all of that. They simply show you a clip of an aeroplane flying and then landing somewhere. That's all. But you see that because they don't have the resources, the capability to enact all of those things. But you see Western movies, they will show you how even people are fighting on the plane and how they are jumping out and how the plane is exploding. Okay? So if you are writing in a Nigerian environment, you know that you cannot perform that part. In fact, even if you write it, they will screen it out. Okay? Because it's not going to be possible to realize it. But if you write it in the Western world where they have the resources to act it, and they will definitely act it. So that's the idea that I wanted to have about performance while scripting. You need to have always on your mind the final performance of the play in your scripting. So to be able to write drama, you need to know everything about it. The meaning, the types, elements, and so on and so forth. And this is your second semester, year 2. So I think even if you had some form of knowledge about this, it has to be reiterated in case there were people who didn't really know. So, drama is one of the 3 genres of literature. Drama is one of the 3 genres of literature, apart from poetry and prose. It is usually written in dialogue. Drama is usually written in dialogue. and is conventionally organized in acts and scenes. Is conventionally organized in acts and scenes. Drama is primarily meant to be acted on the stage. So these are the defining qualities or characteristics of drama. Somebody ever asked you, what is drama? You tell the person that it is a genre of literature written in dialogue. And dialogue means that we tell the story in drama by making the characters converse among themselves. That's how we tell stories in drama. The dramatist will not come out and say story, 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 once upon a time. Alright? No. What the dramatist does is to bring characters, two or more characters together, and engage them in a conversation. And from that conversation, a story evolves. So that is why when you are reading drama, you put together the story from what the characters say to one another. All right? Good. So, apart from the dialogue, another important thing that helps us in realizing the story in drama is action. Because the characters do not only converse, they also take action. Characters do not only converse, they also take action. They can even slap somebody. Okay? In drama. So when you put all of this together, you have drama. The dialogue is what helps to tell the story. And action backs up the dialogue. Most times, the actions are demonstrated through the stage direction. Most times, the action is demonstrated through the stage direction. So the stage direction is a statement usually enclosed in brackets and written in italics. Which explains the direction of the play. Which explains the direction of the play. As well as how the dialogue and action should be delivered by the actors. The stage direction is a statement by the dramatist. It's usually enclosed in brackets and italicized. what it does is to tell us the direction of the play. For instance, you can describe the setting. You can describe the movement of the characters. You can also describe how the dialogue should be rendered, should be delivered. So if there is an action in the play, it is likely going to be captured by the stage direction. As I speak, you should have in mind some of the plays that you read, and you would have noticed the use of stage direction. The bulk of it usually comes at the beginning of the play when the dramatist wants to tell the audience of the setting of the play, what is going to happen, the position of the characters, and so on and so forth. But even as the dialogue continues, you can still have stage directions to show you, to inform or guide actors on how to deliver the lines. So that is where most of the action is usually seen, but the action can also be seen in how each character responds to what another character has done to him or her. Someone say, "You slapped me," that means somebody has been slapped. You don't need to wait for someone to tell you. If somebody has not been slapped and the person says, "You slapped me," then the stage direction will have informed you that there was really no slap. So you have to pay attention to the stage direction, not only as a reader and recognizer of drama, but also as a creative writer who engages in the writing of drama itself. So when we are talking about drama, we are talking about a genre of literature written in dialogue. The dialogue being backed up by action, whether in the stage direction or in the reaction of the characters, actors, to what others have done, and organized in acts and scenes conventionally. So the act is a major division of drama. You will by now know that poetry is written in lines and stanzas. The novel or prose is written in paragraphs and chapters. And drama is written in acts and scenes. Okay, so the act is a major division of drama, and usually is made up of a number of scenes. The act is a major division of drama and usually is made up of a number of scenes. So you have a group of scenes, a group of related scenes coming together to make up an act in a drama. a group of scenes, group of related scenes coming together to make up an act in a drama. So a drama text can have as many as 5 acts, like in the works of William Shakespeare. Shakespeare's drama are mostly written in acts of 5. In acts of 5. But it can be more than that. You are not necessarily limited in the number of acts that you can have. I've seen some drama texts with 12 acts or less, or even more. The most important thing is that the drama should be organized in such a way that it should fit its purpose and realizability at the end of the day. That is, if you are writing it to be staged, write it in such a way that it will not give problem when it's going to be staged. Because you see, that is why the drama is not considered successful until it has been put on the stage. No drama is ever considered successful until it has been performed on the stage. Which is why I began by emphasizing the performance, the performativity of drama. So as a creative writer, you must have at the back of your mind, if you're writing drama, how you're going to bring it to life on the stage. Because it is after you've succeeded on the stage that people will praise the drama. If the drama fails on the stage, then that is it. So if you're writing and you need to take into consideration the timing, people usually come to watch plays for 2 hours. Just as you go to the movies. You can't go to the movie and the movie lasts for 5 hours. What exactly are you doing there? 2 hours, you're out of that place. Okay? So the same thing with your drama. You have to fashion it in a way that, because there is timing for it. Plays are mostly seen in the evening. So people come in 7 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, they should be going home. Nobody wants to stay do tarry night over your play. Alright? It's not tarry night. They come by 7 and then they leave by dawn. Because we made the play so lengthy. Alright? In fact, even at the point of performance, the director will tell you that this cannot be done. You have to reduce it. Okay? So, drama makes use of action, conflict, and dialogue. Drama makes use of action, conflict, and dialogue. So we've already talked about action. Everything that pushes the play forward constitutes an action. Okay? It's not only until people fight before you have action. Everything that pushes the play forward is action. And as a creative writer, you must always understand the motive of each character's action. Why are they acting the way they do at the moment? Because that will determine the outcome of that action and the overall outcome of the play. When you put together the motives of all the characters in their acting, in their action, then conflict is the basic stuff of drama. Conflict is the basic stuff of drama. Judge Bernard Shaw once said that without conflict there is no drama. Judge Bernard Shaw once said that without conflict there is no drama. Judge Bernard Shaw once said that without conflict there is no drama. So the idea of conflict in drama is directly taken from life itself. The idea of conflict in drama is directly taken from life itself. Because you see, life is never without its conflicts. Life is never without its conflicts. There's nobody in the world who does not have or who does not find themselves in conflicting situations. So life is basically conflicted. And conflict refers to opposition by the forces of existence or by individuals it's also the struggle against existential forces or against other members of society, against other nations. If you are a nation, it can even be against yourself. So whatever way you want to look at it, conflict exists in life. So it is usually the reason people say that there's really no one without problems. Everyone has problems. There's always something that one is trying to overcome that provides some level of struggle. So you can basically identify conflict in drama. It could be interpersonal conflicts. That's conflict between the individual and another person. The husband and wife could have conflicts. Children and the parents do have conflicts. The government do have conflict with their citizens. One nation can have conflict with another nation. And you as an individual might have conflicts with yourself. There are situations you cannot resolve. So we are all on this big stage. Alright? Called life, and we act out our roles on the stage of life. That is what Shakespeare says. So when you see life as one big drama, then it helps you understand what we are talking about in the world of the play. Because going by the mimetic theory, and by the theory of mimesis, the work of literature usually mimics events in the real world. So that's why Shakespeare says all of the world is a stage, and each men and women merely what? Players. All of the world is a stage, and each man and woman merely players. All of the world is a stage, and all men and women merely players. That's what Shakespeare said. All of the world is a stage, and all men and women merely what? Players. They have their exits and entrances. You know, Shakespeare was a great philosopher. He not only write drama, he told us some of the most philosophical, truthful things, some of the most philosophically truthful things about life. All of the world's a stage, and all men and women merely players. So that is the idea that you have. You should have as a creative writer engaging in drama. All of us are characters here, and we act out our roles on the big stage of life. Some are teachers, some are students, some are politicians, some are the good guys, some are the bad guys. Some are farmers, some are doctors, all playing out their role. If it is comedy, then it ends well and all the conflicts are amicably resolved. If it is tragedy, then it ends badly, sadly, and some people die. It's all part of life. So one term that you need to understand in drama is suspension of disbelief. Suspension of disbelief. This is what happens to all theater goers. This is what happens to all theater goers. Once the play begins, or once the movie begins, at a point, each theater goer would drop the belief that what is going on the stage or on the screen is merely drama. They will begin to think of it as real life itself playing out in front of them. They will forget that it is just a movie or a drama, and they will begin to take things too seriously. Right? They begin to take things too personal. Take it personal. Alright? They become involved to the extent that they forget that it's just drama. They believe everything going on there as if it is life itself. They identify with their characters. Identify with the action. Choose the characters that they support, the ones that they hate. And if these characters cry, they will cry along. And when they laugh, they will laugh along. This is suspension of disbelief at play. So when the theater goer experiences shades of emotion, just as the creative writer or the director wants them to feel, they are already acting out suspension of disbelief, which is explained in terms of a situation whereby the reader of a play or the theater goer is so involved in the play that he or she thinks that it is life itself and not merely an act of fiction. And if you are going to be a creative writer, you need to have this power to engage your audience to the point of making them believe that the play is not a play. Alright? It's not play at all. That it is live. Okay? It's let's look at types of drama. We have three major types of drama. Tragedy, comedy, tragicomedy, and we have other subtypes that borrow from these three main types. We have other subtypes that borrow from these three main types. And these are melodrama, farce, mask, Burlesque. 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 Mime. 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 Mime and pantomime. Mime and pantomime. Mime and pantomime. You have mime, you have mime and pantomime. Opera. 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 Soap opera. Soap opera. Soap opera. Now soap opera. Among others that we'll study in due course. So tragedy is usually defined, you can decide as a creative writer, I want to write tragedy. So you have to, this is one of the decisions that you make before you start. Now after writing for a while, you say, what do I want this play to be, comedy or tragedy? It's something that you decide right from the beginning. I want to write tragedy, I want to write comedy, I want to write mime, I want to write mime and pantomime. Okay? My drama will be a burlesque. So you have to take the decision right from the beginning. Alright? So the drama is called tragedy when it is full of sadness, sorrowful action, and mood. The tragedy is dominated by a sad mood. And ends unhappily. And ends unhappily. In the traditional or classical tragedy, what we call tragedy is a fall of a great person owing to a flaw in their moral constitution, a mistake that they have done, something that they overlooked, a piece of information that they did not have, or simply acting against fate and all advice, which is pride and arrogance. That's the flaw of the classical tragic hero, is pride and arrogance. Okay? But in the modern in the modern tragedy, the hero is a common man. The hero does not necessarily have to be a highly placed person. In the modern conception of the tragic hero, of tragedy, the tragic hero is who? A common man. And the failure of this common man is usually a combination of personal weaknesses and societal forces. when personal weaknesses clash or collide with economic or social forces, other social forces in society, it might lead to the fall of the common man. Like in Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, Willy Loman is a typical modern tragic hero. Willy Loman is a typical modern tragic hero. He is not highly placed, just a salesman who has not understood that he has been left behind by not only time but age. Left behind by the age and the time. He has let his family down by committing an adultery, getting involved in a secret affair. Has let his family down, his wife down, let his children down, by his personal weakness, which is getting involved in an affair. And that makes the son to be unable to pursue his academic goal and to refuse to go back to take the subject that would have made him go to college. And like the father, the son lives a pretentious life. Another weakness of Willy Loman is that he refuses to come to terms with reality. He always lives in his head. He always lives in his head. He lives under illusion. And in the end, he has to take the final plunge so as to leave some form of money for his family. Of course, we don't know whether that's going to be possible, because if it is seen that he has committed suicide, the insurance company might not pay. See, if it's seen that he has committed suicide, the insurance company might not pay. So tragedy is not only something that happens to highly placed members of society. In our contemporary society, anyone can be involved in a tragedy. So the tragedy of the common man is the popular thing now. So this fall can be fall from grace, loss of position, public opprobrium, public disgrace, and even death. Even death. That's how we define tragedy. So the opposite of tragedy is comedy. The opposite of tragedy is comedy. And comedy usually involves a play that is dominated by happy moods, hilarious action, funny occasions, funny scenes, and ends happily. It doesn't mean that comedy does not have conflict. All drama types have conflicts. The fact that we have the hilarious actions stimulated by happy moods, people are laughing, doesn't mean that it does not have its conflicts. All drama types have conflicts. But the difference between the conflict in tragedy and the one in comedy is that the conflict in comedy is usually amicably resolved so that the play ends well. Whereas the conflict in tragedy usually leads to the fall of the tragic hero, it leads to death, which makes the play end unhappily, which makes the play to end unhappily. So it is how the conflict in the play is resolved that determines whether it is a tragedy or what? Comedy. It is how the conflict in a play is resolved that determines whether it is what? Tragedy or comedy. So in comedy, all the conflicts are resolved. Those who did whatever wrong they did are forgiven, and people can unite and stay in peace again. Whatever confusion that was created is resolved. But in tragedy, the conflict usually leads to destruction and sad situation. So for instance, in She Stoops to Conquer, the conflict usually revolves around mistaken identity. And as long as that mistaken identity persists, there is going to be conflict. Alright? But because it is harmless, the audience simply laughs throughout. But once that mistaken identity is taken away, then the conflict is resolved. Okay? In She Stoops to Conquer by Oliver Goldsmith, the conflict is caused by what? Mistaken identity. The suitors being told that they are going to stay in an inn for the night before moving to their destination without knowing that that inn is actually the in-laws' house. So now go there to command everybody around, as if they are servants, even including the father-in-law to be. Right? So we have many types of comedy. How many types of comedy? You can write them down. How many types of comedy? You can write them down. We have low comedy. Low comedy. Low. Low comedy. Right? And L-O-W. Then we have high comedy. High comedy. Okay? Then we have slapstick. Slapstick comedy. Low comedy. High comedy. Slapstick comedy. I hope you've heard of slapstick before. Okay. So now you use a stick to slap somebody. Alright? Then we have farce. Farce. F-A-R-C-E. Farce. Then we have satire. Satire. Farce. Satire. Satire. They have parody. 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 They have stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy. Then we have review. Or variety show. Variety show. Then you have black comedy. Black comedy. Or black humor. A black humor. Then you have burlesque. A burlesque. Burlesque. A burlesque. Burlesque. We have travesty. 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 Then we have commedia dell'arte. Commedia. Okay. Then we have comedy of manners. Comedy of manners. Comedy of manners. Then we have comedy of humors. Comedy of humors. Then we have comedy of ideas. Comedy of ideas. And we have comedy of morals. Comedy of morals. Then we have sentimental comedy. Sentimental comedy. Sentimental comedy. Comedy of character. Comedy of character. Comedy of character. Comedy of character. Comedy of situation or intrigue. Comedy of situation or intrigue. Comedy of situation or what? Comedy of situation or intrigue. Romance comedy. Romance comedy. Romance comedy. Epic theater. Theater of the absurd. It's still a form of comedy. Epic theater. Theater of the absurd. Okay, maybe we should start with low comedy. Alright, so low comedy. Low comedy is a form of farce. Low comedy is a form of farce. It's also called lowbrow humor. Lowbrow humor. Lowbrow humor. It is made up of popular forms of entertainment. It is made up of popular forms of entertainment aimed at causing laughter. Aimed at causing laughter using jokes, boasting, or drunkenness. Using jokes, boasting, fighting, and drunkenness. The characters are usually commonplace people, and the dialogue is usually plain. The characters are usually commonplace people, the dialogue is usually plain. Then you have high comedy. High comedy achieves laughter through witty dialogue. The actions are usually elevated. The characters, middle class or upper class members of society. The actions are usually elevated. The characters, middle or upper class members of society. And so you could see the difference between it and the low comedy. Slapstick is a type of comedy. Slapstick is a type of comedy that makes use of exaggerated physical action. Slapstick makes use of exaggerated physical action to create laughter. The name slapstick the name slapstick is taken from the stick that is normally used in this type of comedy. There's usually a stick that is involved. So physical action is seen in how the actor manipulates his body to create laughter, uses his body to create laughter. The person might exaggerate certain aspects of the body, like the face, like the ear, like the head, like the mouth. Also, from the way the person turns or manipulates the body can create laughter. Even falling can be a physical action. Satire is a work of art that corrects human weaknesses through ridicule. Satire is a work of art that corrects human weaknesses through ridicule. Satire is a work of art that mocks at human weaknesses through that mocks at human weaknesses in order to correct them. Satire laughs at human weaknesses in order to correct them. Parody can be defined as a work of art that imitates another work of art in a humorous way. Parody is a work of art that imitates another work of art in a humorous way. So in parody, there's usually a serious work of art. Then the parody comes in to make fun of that work of art, that existing work of art. By rewriting it in ways that make people laugh. That's parody. Parody is a work of art that imitates another work of art in a humorous way. In a humorous way. In stand-up comedy, it's all over the place now. It's a money maker now. In stand-up comedy, the comedian stands and addresses the audience in a live performance. The comedian stands before the audience, addresses them in a live performance, and makes the audience to laugh through jokes, through funny songs, and actions. So people like Basket Mount, Bowie, AY, are popular stand-up comedians in Nigeria. Okay, some of them imitates how a song usually changes from ethnic group to ethnic group. Okay? And the ultimate is when the song gets to the eastern part of Nigeria. How it is sung there. Okay? Well, I'm not a comedian, but you can find most of them on YouTube. Then we have variety show. Variety show or review, also known as vaudeville. Vaudeville. Variety shows, as the name suggests, is made up of different forms of theatrical performances. Variety show, as the name suggests, is made up of different forms of theatrical performances. From theater, you have theatrical performances. Including songs, dances, and acrobatic arts, even magic. You know that magic is a form of comedy. People do magic to make the audience laugh. You watch some of these talent shows. You usually have magicians who come to entertain the audience through their magic. So if you put different theatrical performances together, what you have is a variety show. It's not focused on one aspect of entertainment, but different forms of entertainment. That's variety show. Black humor. Black humor. Black humor. You can also call it black comedy or dark humor. Dark humor. Dark humor, black comedy, black humor, all one and the same thing. This type of comedy creates jokes out of painful or mournful situations. This type of comedy creates jokes out of what? Painful or mournful situation. The situation is very tragic, but if you create jokes out of it, that's dark humor. Dark humor laughs at tragic human situations, makes fun out of tragic human situations. Some people like say it's not funny, okay? Something serious happens and somebody tries to make fun of you, say it's not funny. So that's dark humor. Finding a way to make hilarious situations out of very serious, dire human circumstances. Dark humor. Then we have burlesque. 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 Burlesque is a type of comedy. Burlesque is a type of comedy. Which is an imitation of a serious work of drama. So it has an affinity with parody, except that parody is not only limited to drama, but can be any genre. But burlesque is specifically mimetic of another work of drama. Burlesque is specifically drama. Parody is a general term for such imitation, such funny imitation of serious works of literature. But burlesque is specifically drama. A drama that imitates is another serious drama. A drama that imitates in a funny way another work of drama that is serious. Okay? So burlesque is a type of comedy that imitates a serious work of drama. Okay, so they're usually in three forms. They usually come in three forms: parody, burlesque, pastiche. Okay? Pastiche. Travesty. Travesty. Travesty is a form of parody or burlesque which imitates a work through misrepresentation and distortion of facts, scenes, and other dramatic elements. So travesty is imitation, comedy by imitation through distortion and misrepresentation. Travesty is a form of parody or burlesque which imitates a work through what? Misrepresentation and distortion of facts, distortion of scenes, and other dramatic elements. And other dramatic elements. So if somebody says it is a travesty of justice, that is making justice look like a joke. It could also be a distortion of justice in such a way that it makes justice look like it's not a serious business. All right? So this is comedy through distortion of facts or elements of an existing work of literature. So travesty is absurd, nonsensical, and an inferior imitation of another work in such a way as to create laughter. Travesty is absurd, nonsensical, and an inferior imitation of another work in such a way as to do what? Create laughter. Then we have commedia dell'arte. Commedia dell'arte. Commedia dell'arte has an Italian origin. It has an Italian origin, was popular in the 1500s to the 1700s, was popular from the 1700s, was popular from the 1500s to the 1700s. The play is marked by improvisation. 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 As it is improvised. It doesn't necessarily have to have a script. Actors act on the spur of the moment. The play makes use of stock characters or type characters. The makes use of stock characters or type characters. We did something about characterization last semester. We talked about stock characters, I suppose. In Commedia dell'arte, characters usually wear masks. So you see that whatever is done in the lower year or the lower semester is meant to serve as a foundation for future teaching. So no knowledge will ever be lost. In fact, at a point you have to go back to what you already know. So that you can understand what is coming in the future. Because the past is always relevant. In this play, characters wear masks. In this play, characters wear masks. And the actors satirize specific social traits of certain professions. The actors satirize certain attributes of certain professions. Could be teachers, could be doctors. So the actors will dress like the members of the profession and behave or act in ways that will make ridicule or fun of that profession. That's comedy at the last. The actors dress like professionals and act in ways that put that profession into ridicule. They dress like teachers, they act in ways like that make you laugh at teachers, or doctors, or police, or politicians, or accountants. Wherever they find excesses in the profession, they satirize. Comedy of manners. Comedy of manners. Comedy of manners. Comedy of manners was popular in the 1600s to the early 1700s. It depicted realistic social attitudes. Of the upper class members of society in ways that make them laughable. It depicted the manners of the upper class members of society, the artificial ways of living, in ways that make them laughable. It's just like novel of manners. Okay? It depicts in a satirical way the social attitudes of the upper class members of society of the time. Then comedy of humor. Comedy of humor. Comedy of humor was popularized by the Renaissance playwright Ben Jonson in the 16th century. Comedy of humor was popularized by the Renaissance playwright Ben Jonson in the 16th century. Comedy of humor was made popular by Ben Jonson in the 16th century. He was a Renaissance playwright. The drama focuses on the humors. The drama focuses on what we call the humors, which was about 4 in number, the 4 humors. So by the humors, we refer to a range of human temperaments that was said to determine the dominant character of an individual based on Renaissance psychology. A range of what? Human temperaments. That's what so within the context, this is what humor means. This is what humors mean. A range of human temperaments that was used to determine the dominant character of an individual based on Renaissance psychology and Renaissance medicine. So each person has a temperament. All right? Could be choleric, could be phlegmatic, could be sanguine, could be melancholic. That's what they refer to as humors. Till today, we still talk about these things. Somebody will ask you, what's your temperament? And you say, I am sanguine. All right? And the person will say, you don't look like a sanguine at all. You are always on your own, always reserved. Don't talk to anyone. You don't laugh. So why are you sanguine? Okay? So it's usually said that it's through a mix of blood, okay, that forms this temperament in Renaissance medicine and psychology. So this drama, Comedy of Humor, focuses on the humors, on the human temperament, the dominant aspect of the human temperament that we talked about, based on Renaissance psychology and medicine. So the humor represents the kind of fluid that is dominant in an individual, which can be choleric, sanguine, melancholic, or phlegmatic. Kind of fluid or blood that is dominant in the individual. This is what they believe. Medicine has come a long way, but this was what they believed then. Then we have comedy of ideas. Comedy of ideas. So how does a melancholy behave? So what's laughing?
When quiet.
So it's quiet. So comedy of ideas gives answers to serious human questions through jokes and laughter. Through jokes and laughter. Comedy of ideas supplies answers to serious human questions by way of jokes and laughter. By way of jokes and laughter. The conflict in this type of drama is seen in the clash of ideologies, clash of ideas through debates. It's a kind of intellectual drama. The major conflict in this type of drama is a clash of ideas, clash of ideologies, usually seen through intellectual debates. Then comedy of morals. Is like satire because it aims to correct through laughter and abuse. Comedy of morals aims to teach moral lessons through jokes, through laughter and abuse. Aims to correct and bring about sound moral through laughter and jokes. Sentimental comedy. We have sentimental comedy, which was popular in the 1700s. And deals with moral issues. It deals with moral issues. It also deals with issues of emotional concerns. Also deals with issues of emotional concerns. Teaches virtues. Sentimental comedy teaches virtues like patience, like honesty, chastity, which is believed is what lifts the individual from lower social station to a higher social station. In sentimental comedy, it's believed that the individual could be lifted by virtues, by virtue of his or her virtues. All right? So a servant could be tested, and if the servant is seen to be faithful and morally upright, that servant could be lifted. When at this point it was not easy for one to rise from one social station to another, you could use your virtue, your moral traits to rise. So the sentimental comedy deals with emotion, moral issues. In the 1700s, and comedy of situation. Comedy of situation, also known as comedy of intrigue. Comedy of intrigue, I-N-T-R-I-G-U-E. This type of comedy emphasizes the effect of an action rather than the character. This type of comedy emphasizes the effect of an action rather than the character. It creates unbelievable situations. It creates unbelievable situations. Which can cause laughter. Which can cause laughter. Romantic comedy. Has love as its subject matter. Romantic comedy has love as its subject matter. And this love is presented in a humorous way because the characters are usually young and inexperienced and so find themselves in ridiculous love situations or circumstances. Romantic comedy is based on love of young lovers. Romantic comedy is based on the love of young lovers who find themselves in ridiculous love circumstances because of their youth and inexperience. Okay, so we're going to stop there for today. For this course, I'm going to share us into groups of 10. I'm going to share us into a group of 10. We are going to have our projects, okay, for each group. So after we've shared the group into we will now assign the project. Okay? So we are going to have both personal and group projects. Because this is creative writing, we have to start producing something. Okay? Creative. Not just writing. There has to be, you have to produce something creative that can stand for you. So that you can use to remember that you did a course on creative writing. Because what is creative writing when there's no creative writing at the end of the day? Okay? So your personal project is simple. We have a number of topics here, but after we treated topic 6, which is poetry, all right, you write your poem. 1 point, just 1 point, right? You write 1 point. You can start now, because we want to have a collection of poetry collection for the class, okay? Published at the end of the day, okay? So if we can select, you have to make sure that your poem enters, your poem is selected, and you have to write the best, because you cannot have over 100 points. Okay? So, but of course, if all the poems are good, normally when there's a poetry competition, we select the best poems to publish. Alright? So all you need to do is to make sure that yours is selected. But the poem has to be your own write-up. Okay? So that's the personal project. And the poem will be based on your village stream. The stream in your village. Everybody will need to write a poem based on the stream in their village. And so when you're sending in the entry, this is the beginning of the semester, you have a long time for you to prepare. You can even visit the village and go to the stream. The last time I went to the village, I realized that the streams have died. The streams are died. People don't go there anymore. And it's like the whole culture is missing. People now do tap water everywhere. And no one goes to the stream. Okay? So the streams are dying. So we want to have that memory of our streams. Whether you want to go and ask people how the stream used to look like. Take picture, of the stream, what happens there. But at the end of the day, you have to produce a poem. Before you write the poem, you have to give us information on the stream, where it is located. Alright, the name of the stream. Each stream usually has a name. Okay, you have to give us the original stream. Okay, for instance, in my village, we have 2 major streams. One is Idematai, and the other one is Idemukbang. Alright? And so you should think whether you have a stream in your village that has a name like that. You have to write it down. And then you have to write the peculiar things that are noted about the stream, like the village where it is located, and the peculiar things noted about the stream. For instance, in Idematai, twins don't go there on the market day of the village. The twins will not be allowed to go there. Okay? So get all the information you can from that stream, and then from there you write the poem out of it. Something very creative. And we are going to publish it in a collection entitled Stream Songs. Make sure your poem gets in there, because each contributor's name will be there, the bow of the person, and then the stream, the information about the stream, and then the poem. Right? 2 pages. That's 1 page for the bow data in the stream, and then the poem will take the next page. But it doesn't have to be 1 page. That's so that you can be free to express yourself, right? But at least minimum 2 for each person. So it's going to be voluminous. Okay? So we need to start producing something. Because that's what the university system is. We cannot teach you creative writing and then you don't know how to write creatively. So that's project 1, the personal project. So you start now. Okay, we'll keep emphasizing it as we go. Stream songs. You give it a title, a very beautiful title of your own, and then you write the poem. You can use the theme of the poem to talk about anything in society, including maybe moral decadence, even the political situation, depending on the stream that you're talking about, what you want to say. All right, so you have to be creative. And then the group work will cut across the 3 genres of literature that we study under creative writing, and will be aimed at performing certain tasks, with one group work relating to the other group work till the end of the final production. Okay? So we'll start now by grouping us into 10 persons per group. I think for a class of 100, we might have up to 10 or more groups. So, no, of course we'll continue to create the groups, but we cannot wait for anyone. Alright? No wait for anyone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you are one, you'll be in group 1. You are 2, you'll be in group 2. Right? You are 3, you'll be in group 3. Alright? So where 10 are you 10? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moses. 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright? So get your number. So after the class, you can just call yourself number 1, the incredible one, the amazing one. Let's meet. If you are 3, you can call yourself the 3 Musketeers. Let us meet. Then, share you were 10, right? Share. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are going to take a break now. You can meet and write your name and give to the course because it will submit for your task. So we start early so that nobody will be overwhelmed at the end of the day.